Starting.
YouTube dashboard.
Live.
You are live. All right. Well, hi everyone. Welcome back to our Crusader Kings 2 stream. It's Alex from Link Cable and Mark also from Link Cable here. We are currently playing a bit of Crusader Kings 2, going through a campaign as Germany.
Well, if I can interject and be a video game nerd, technically we're playing as the Ladolfinger dynasty. Currently playing as Otto Ladolfinger. So you don't play as a country. That's one important thing to remember. Is even if you lose your kingdom, doesn't matter as long as you have land. You can come back.
Gotcha.
Like your descendants will be able to avenge you. So we just won a war against France and some vassals over here who there's the dingus that hates us. Yeah, this guy, Friedrich of Luxembourg. Of course I'm gonna come to the party. So one thing that I mentioned earlier, sorry, we sort of jumped in after your intro. Do you want to do it before I start ranting about video games?
No, not really.
Okay.
But really, we're back Crusader Kings 2. I'll do it anyway. So we're back into Crusader Kings 2. Thanks for joining us. We're going to play this for about another hour or so, I think. And see how far we can get as Germany, or as Mark was kindly correcting me on, how Middle Age geopolitics work.
Yeah. Okay, so we just won a war against, I'm trying to find the guy. This guy. I think. This dickhole, Gisabelt de Regenar, Count of Loon. I also just had a daughter while that was going, so I'm going to pause the game so things can stop happening. You can see he has negative 100 opinion of us.
Oh, that's the lowest possible.
Yeah, you can't get any lower than that. So I'm going to just keep antagonizing him. He's not my rival yet, but eventually he will be if I keep antagonizing him. So we beat him and France and got a bunch of land back so we can continue our quest to reunite the Holy Roman Empire. I'm going to pay off my loan to the Jewish moneylenders. And have a look at our daughter. We just had Mechthild. You get some fun names in here. Weak God. And Ludolf is currently our designated heir. So let's start time up back again. We are very threatening. We have a threat of 50%. So you can see 50% all defensive pacts of other religious groups will band together if we attack one of them. So we're going to be getting a lot of those little dings about people joining defensive pacts against us. In fact, I want to just quickly see what matters is if the King of Italy joins one against us. So maybe...
Because Italy was the one that you had in the first part of our stream. We said we would target them.
Yeah, because we have a claim on them. Is the guy just? No, there's none. Oh, and my vassals have decided that they like my bastard son more than the son I picked to be king, so... Yeah, really? Is that what just happened? Let's see. Yeah. Wilhelm. But they want someone else to be king of Germany.
Gotcha.
So they want Wilhelm to inherit my titles, but they want, who's this guy? The Duke of Thuringia. Oh, and he's got some pretty good intrigue. Let's make him spy master if we can. Can't I make you a vassal? Cool. I'll keep an eye on him. What to do? My brother is unhappy with the conditions of his cell. How about the oubliette? As we mentioned in the first stream, so you dig a hole, put a rock over it. Mm-hmm. Actually, Italy is fighting France with Arles, so they're probably a little distracted right now. But he's got 8,000 troops, and we do not. So we are not going to attack Italy.
So even though he's distracted with someone else, he could still marshal those troops in a different direction.
Yeah, because he's an ally of somebody else.
Right.
So he's an ally of the Duke of Arrow. Or
Right.
the King of Arrow.
Which you border significantly.
Yeah. So we're not going to...
And they probably... France would be very happy to have them stop fighting.
Yeah. So one of our vassals died without any heirs, so we get his land. So this is one of the things where you can metagame a little. So if I'm searching my realm for people who are content, because it is a good trait for vassals to have. They don't... Content characters never want to be on the council. They never plot against you or anything.
They're middle managers.
They... Not even. They are people that wouldn't even want to be a supervisor. So you want them to be your vassals.
Right.
So, I'm finding the only noble that I can find. And I have Villach and Freisach. Okay. So I've landed the the happiest and most content noble I could find. And now I'm going to give him that duchy. And he loves me. He's not very good at anything, but he's content. So it doesn't matter, because he's not going to be mean. So, a little decision point for you.
Mm-hmm.
Our son, Wilhelm, the bastard, who's probably going to get our titles, to become Duke of Saxony. Do you want him to be ambitious, or do you want him to be well-groomed?
Probably, and stop me before you make a decision if I'm wrong, but probably ambitious. We were trying to raise them up.
Ambitious characters try a little bit harder at everything. So
right.
That's an excellent choice.
Yeah.
It's not just pretty.
Yeah.
That does point out a problem. If we die, this guy becomes king. So maybe let's... no, we can't murder him.
I think that's always the first idea. It's
what? He's a problem. There's no man, there's no problem.
Yeah.
So I need to get rid of Saint-Ois, because that was what I...
This is why European wars lasted thousands of years.
Exactly.
Took a long time for that to stop being the de facto. Let's... I have a problem. Who do I kill to get rid of this problem?
Duchy of Angria. Let's create the Duchy of Angria because we're over our vassal limit. And we'll give it to... Oh, right. This guy. Well, let's just execute him. Everyone will be a little bit mad, but it's not that big of a deal. And we'll give his son the duchy. He'll take a bunch of vassals with him, and it'll be easier. So now he loves us, even though, as you can... Oh, we didn't even take a malice with him for murdering his father. And another peasant revolt. Look at that. Okay, so this guy here, Lord Mayor Adam. So, like I said, all the other characters are also playing Crusader Kings.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy has a different focus than us. He is carousing. He just wants to party. So he invited us to a party, and we're partying.
I like the flavor text at the bottom.
Let's get it started!
Yeah, I'm sure that's how German kings spoke in the year 941. Let's get this place
If
lit.
I remember correctly, if you get scurvy, the flavor text for the decision to treat yourself is door hinge. It's a nice little pun. Ooh, I can just gain a claim. Is that a fake claim to count? Sure, why not? We're gonna bamboozle him. We're gonna play some board games too, and I win. Of course, Otto's great.
Otto seems to have a lot of success in his life so far. He doesn't seem like the type to...
Otto's good at stuff. This guy's trying to kill his wife. We're gonna stop him. So that's not cool. Oh, and Buddy tried to start a war based on the false claim that I made. He didn't go well for him. He's boiling in his own bile. So this is where one of the problems starts to come out with Crusader Kings, is that once you get really big, the start of a war, you're mostly just waiting. So we have a decent army down here. You can sort of alleviate it with the rally system.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can pick a couple different places across your kingdom, and then they'll make a couple different armies.
Mm-hmm.
But we've got a big enough one now to take down a peasant revolt, so we're gonna go do that. We're gonna switch to the train mode to show you this. It's winter, so there's
There's snow on the ground.
Pregnant again.
Your wife again?
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations.
It's funny, I'm on campaign. How did that happen?
Oh.
It's one of the events that can come up is that you get suspicious of your wife. Ooh, we're going to duel Svatoslav, the head of the revolt. Yeah. Oh, and one of my dudes pushes by.
So you're very well liked. That's twice that's happened now.
Yeah.
You're...
They respect me. I've got 1,400 prestige. I'm the greatest king that's ever been known.
What's prestige? That's the Xbox one, right? Like that's your, or is that gamer score?
I think that's gamer score on Xbox. I don't know.
Oh, prestige is Call of Duty.
Yeah. What else? So we'll make construction better. So this is Crusader. I'm not gonna narrate everything I do from now on. I think we're getting the hang of it a little bit.
It is one of those games that I feel like the more you play, the more you discover of like, especially early, like if it's your first few times playing it, you'll keep peeling back these layers of options and depth, right?
Yeah, and like I didn't want to go in. There's auto doesn't make sense to join any of the societies and stuff that they added. But societies add a whole, like, they had like little quests and stuff for you to do, especially if you join. So you can join the Benedictines or the Dominicans or the Hermetic Society. The King of England is head of the Hermetic Society. Oh, he has cancer though, so he's probably gonna die. One of the community memes is a really great character and then just cancer. Man, I keep inheriting. Desires the county of Alberg. No.
So a lot of these character models, portraits they're repeated, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
So this is the generic children one.
right.
For all. Is that stuff? No. This is this. Paderborn. Sorry. So yeah, all the children of different like ethnicity groups look the same. So if you go over like to the Spanish over here, he's not any kids. That's what the Mediterranean kids look like.
Gotcha.
English and Norse and all the other like Far East ones.
Right. So you just have to make sure you know who you're modifying or making a move against.
Yeah, like the adults look a little bit different.
Right.
Like they're basically different, swapping different parts on the same model. Until like so, if you get scarred, you'll have scars. If you get like the hair lip trait, you'll have your lip will be all fucked up. And then again, if you get disfigured, you have to wear a mask because people think you're gross. Yeah, I'm gonna create some duchies and get my vassal count down because I've got way too many. I could also make myself king of Frisia, Duchy of Chimavia. See this guy. So this is another thing. You spend a lot of time pausing Crusader Kings and sorting through the mess.
Yeah. So would you say, is this the kind of game then where you let it play for a while, pause, arrange what's gone on?
Yeah, or like if I didn't have, how many titles can I create? 21 titles to sort through? I would let it run, but I'm going to pause it for right now and try to get that number down a little bit more. So the Count of Metz could be the Duke of Trier, but...
So what happens if you exceed your vassal count for an extended period of time?
You lose like tax revenue. Your vassals get mad at you. You don't get as many troops from each of your holdings. Things sort of like that start to pile up. I don't want to make the church that powerful. This guy, sure. I don't know. I'm probably not going to make any of the kingdoms, but sure make. Okay, so that's why that duchess that I wed my son to was so powerful is because I have all these duchies I haven't created. So she has the land holdings, but I can give them to other people to reduce her power. I'm sure she won't get too mad about that. She can just declare war on him if she wants it back. Although I would hope my vassals would not do that. I'm going to get this Belf guy his own place. There we go. And you start to learn fun names for parts of Europe, right?
Or like earlier, there was that place where we're in Guelph right now. Was it Felf?
Velf, yeah.
Velf.
So this guy's royal family. So it's one of the King Georges was from House Velf. Okay, so Italy's still fighting their war. I'm going to make him a special interest character, so I'll get updates about him. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to antagonize him. I'm going to tell him he sucks.
Nice shirt.
And eventually, every once in a while, I'll get a little event like, hey, how should I be a dick to him today? And I'll let that run for a sec.
So this is a really interesting game of just like European geopolitics from 1,500 years ago, or 1,000 years ago.
Yeah, even further if you get some mods.
Yeah. Well, I think Paradox has one. I think it's Imperator.
Yeah,
Which is, I think it's their oldest one chronologically. Like you go back to like the Roman Empire.
Also made EU Rome. But I have not heard a lot of great things about Imperator, but apparently they're fixing it. So.
Yeah. And that's like the thing with Paradox, like I was saying earlier, like they support their games. Like they don't just release Crusader Kings 2
and the games like change a lot, right?
Right.
Like Stellaris and EU4 are nothing like what they were at launch.
Right. And the modding community is huge on these games. So if there's a problem and Paradox isn't willing to fix it, odds are a modder will at some point.
We just bought a painting for our Grand Hall.
I love how like you can declare war on entire kingdoms, but you can also buy paintings for your halls. Like it's very like
if you play as like a merchant republic, let me find one. Like
Venice.
Yeah, like Venice. If you play as Venice, every like noble family, so their republics are run by like 5 or 6 noble families, and then they elect a patrician from them. So one of the things you do is you have to make your family's mansion the prettiest mansion. So you build like little additions to it and stuff that you can improve your holdings. Another peasant revolt. Okay. In the same spot, basically. Great.
So that's a very unhappy territory.
Yeah, I'm starting to think somebody might be causing shit there.
Like sending
their counselor to go annoy it, right?
Yeah.
Like just like I can. Again, every other character is also playing Crusader
Right.
Kings.
So it's a destabilizing force essentially.
Yeah. My brother wants to kill me. Yeah, go to jail. God, what's the problem with brothers?
So are all those like little symbols with the number? Those are all armies?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so eventually they'll all get together and may become one big army with and set the rally point. So one of the reasons I keep giving away duchies is kings can only hold 2 duchies before their vassals start to get mad. They think you're holding on to too many titles. You're not handing them out and being a cool king. So usually it helps to find a couple of your vassals that you like and like you, and make them relatively powerful but still not as powerful as you.
Yeah, it's all like the game of keeping allies in check, right? Like you want them to be happy enough that they continue to pay you, but not so powerful that they think you should be paying them.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm interpreting this correctly, so there's a peasant revolt in that border province that you have, and now is that Hungary?
This is pink is Hungary,
Yeah.
brown is Bohemia.
So they have two armies massed nearby. Would that be an indication that they're the ones causing?
So you can't really cause surprise wars.
Okay.
What I think is happening here, like revolt risk is 8%. Peasant unrest, different culture group. Okay. So it's probably because they're Slovenian and more than anything else. So like I said, like you get the foreigner penalty.
Right, because you're holding their territory. Right?
Yeah. So who actually wants? So this I actually have a couple levels of vassals between. Oh, quit being a dick, Babenbergs. There's $90. Just shut up about it. So this guy's trying to
Seduce your wife.
seduce my wife of the red cheeks, huh? I'm going to doodle him. This should be fun. He accepted my challenge to duel. Now to convene with my agents, so you can be sneaky and cheat. I've been waiting for this, you filthy snake, and another thing they added recently, I think in Holy Fury, is the kill counter. How many people you've killed? There's an achievement for killing, I think, 100 people.
So you just killed the guy who was trying to seduce your wife.
That's right.
You heard it here first, folks.
Don't try to seduce my wife.
So by cheating, like you kind of like dulled his knife.
Basically, you increase your odds of winning.
Gotcha.
So it's always a dice roll, and there's no 100%. You could be like the mightiest, most terrifying Viking in all of the realm, and you could roll poorly and lose to like a little kid, like a 16-year-old. You can only duel adults.
Right. So it's like Dungeons and Dragons. You could be like the most powerful monster titan type creature, and you roll the nat 1, and then you stab yourself in the face.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just gonna continue my cleanup a little, and keep things on a slow pace, nice and chill. So Trier is just sort of sitting on its own. I'm gonna give it to this guy.
Did you give it to that guy because he was unhappy with you?
Well, he's powerful already, and I'm going to make him my court bishop. So he owns a fair amount of land, and so one of the ways again that you can game things is you can get like based on how the Pope likes you, it'll change how much your priest like you.
Gotcha.
So you can send your priest to go make the Pope like you.
Right.
So it becomes this feedback loop where eventually they both just have 100%.
Gotcha.
So let's just heckle King Hugh.
King Hugh of Italy?
Of Italy, yeah. It does eventually start to get a little confusing with who is who.
Right.
But look, he only has 4,500 right now. And how much does the King of Arles have? He doesn't have very much either. And we have a crap load. We are going to invade Italy. Why can't I? Oh, because he's fighting Muslims, and I need 100 piety. So if someone else is fighting the infidels, you lose piety for attacking them, and I don't have it very much, so I can't afford to.
Right, because you're all part of Christendom, right?
Yeah, and the Pope would be like, hey man, that's not cool. And I don't have enough authority to declare an anti-Pope yet, and be like, screw you!
He's the real Pope.
Sure, marry her to an Italian duke. Actually, no, what I'll do is I'll find a vassal who has children and marry my daughter to one of them. That way we get a non-aggression pact. There we go. She's gonna be the different, right? Probably marry Wilhelm to somebody.
How old is Wilhelm now?
14.
14.
So, need more piety to invade Italy. Don't have a lot of money right now. 200's okay, but it's not great.
How do you increase piety?
You can buy indulgences. You can give the money to the church. You can go on pilgrimage. Cool, that was easy. Another pro tip, if your vassals are in jail, then they can't plot against you. It's called North Korea mode. Actually, North Korea mode is when you hold every single holding by yourself. You have no vassals. I guess it's more Russia mode when you just jail anybody that opposes you. So this is, I think, from Way of Life or Conclave. I think it's Conclave. Your little stewards will get events like, hey, we should do this. Like, wants to build roads to make the peasants easier for them to travel. And then their prosperity goes up and you can build things faster. So, I'm going to...
Russia, like this is real life, but was it Russia that turned, like they freed all the slaves and then they turned them into serfs?
Yeah. Oh, that's
Otherwise-
serfs are basically the peasants in
Right.
feudalism, right? You belong to the lord, your lord. He's getting older, so this is another little childhood thing. So you can take a penalty for your current character to give a boon to your child. Screw that. I have to try and invade Italy before Otto dies because he has, see that claim there has a strong claim, so it has a green thing around it.
I like this. My wife is pregnant, but I was away, wasn't I?
Yeah, so this is, I'm going to talk about this in a sec. This is a weak claim. So weak claim can still be inherited, it's possible, but you can only attack, use them when they're already fighting somebody else. So it's if it's being contested or the claimant's female or something like that.
Gotcha.
Anyway, so my wife is pregnant, but I was away, wasn't I? So let's see what happens. You get a couple little events after this. I cannot be the wife of the father of my wife's baby. I must put this matter to rest. Hire someone to find out.
So now someone is spying on your wife, who is cheating on you, apparently.
Possibly.
Possibly. Allegedly.
And you know what? If she's gonna do that, I'm gonna make my brother into a cuck. Okay, so the maid I hired said my wife is faithful. Great. And I just slept with my brother's wife while he's in my prison. Oh, but she has the ugly trait. Maybe I shouldn't be cackling. Oh well.
It's good to be king, was that what it said?
Yeah. Oh, he's a stout young man. Sure. Buy an indulgence. Hopefully that'll give me some piety.
Your piety's going up a little.
Yeah, you gain a little bit as you go. I gained 50 piety for 367 gold. Ah, I'm gonna nail some stuff to a church door, buddy. Just give me 600 years.
We have it in draft mode. It's in our saved folder. It's a draft. We'll send.
Oh, and my brother's wife is pregnant with my child.
Oh no!
So this is always a handy thing, is when people plot to gain claims on... So King Wilhelm here wants to be king of Germany. And we can throw him in prison because he's plotting against it. But he's also the heir to the king of Germany. Oh, he used to be. Who is now? Somebody else is the new hotness. So that's why... That's why we're trying to imprison him, because he isn't actually any of our council members. And now he's raised his flag in rebellion. So now we
So
have to fight on our hands.
that little gray circle in the middle, that's his territory.
Yeah, so let me raise my troops and I'll go back to showing. Yeah, so it's hard because countries of similar areas usually have similar colors, but I'll switch this way so you can see. His two tiny little provinces are going to take on the entire Kingdom of Germany. not going to do anything to the King of Italy right now because I'm broke.
Your piety's almost at 100 though, so once you put this revolt to bed and you can build up your coffers again.
Yeah, I can probably invade. And again, I want to do it before Otto dies.
Yeah. How old is Otto now?
31.
31. Good health. Well, I mean 31. That's like near retirement age and.
For peasants, yes. The nobles can live a long time. Every once in a while, you'll get some gossip from one of your vassals. I never believe it. It's usually just greedy vassals who want leverage on other vassals. Because it's something you can do as a character.
Right.
It's just you see the other side of the events and stuff, right?
So they're trying to like court your favor. And like, hey, I heard this about...
This guy said your song. So... all of our dudes, so we've got 10,000 troops. He has about 4,000. Oh, come on, how much per month am I getting? I'm getting 0.95 months, so that's not bad. Dietbold. You could name your kids if you want. I usually don't. I just like the names that they come up with.
Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of another thing about this game to point out is that you can play it to whatever level of depth you want, right? Like, there's some... You can automate a lot of things. Right?
Yeah, you can. Oh, it's not really automation, but you can like customize it. So, Otto is now the king of the kingdom of farts, of the farty people. So if I go back here, it just says farts. Like you can customize things. It gets pretty silly. You can create your own titles with the Charlemagne DLC. So if you're big enough, you can just declare yourself a king.
A lot of kids being born all of a sudden.
My brother thinks it's his kid.
He was in jail.
There's the reason I'm king.
Yeah, alright, fair.
Good guess. Jeez.
So you had said before we started streaming that this game, you can play it online.
Yeah, you can play multiplayer. Everybody's a different. Everybody picks a different character. One really fun thing is we don't have the Holy Roman Empire going right now, but in the Holy Roman Empire, all the dukes get to vote on who becomes emperor. So it's fun if all of you and all your friends play as dukes, or just plotting against each other and stuff. Other people do they pick different sides of the map. Sometimes someone will pick like a Byzantine, someone else will be like one of the big Muslim powers, like the Samanids or the Saffarids. How the Saffarids not anyway. They're in the old gods and they're very powerful, but in this start date they're not. So you can try and intentionally clash with each other, or decide, hey, I'm going to do Catholicism stuff. Cool, man, I'm going to go be a Hindu.
Right. So it's kind of like you're playing together, but
in
not
the same
impacting
world,
each
I
other,
guess. Yeah. And then you can team up against AI powers if you want to.
Oh, so you can't have it doesn't automatically fill the game with every country.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like playing multiplayer is just basically more every character is doing what we're doing right now.
Gotcha.
But you can just play with two people. I don't think I've ever seen, because there's a crap load of provinces, like over 1,000 at least. I like the heritage one. It's the default if you don't pick one, just to get rid of the tooltip. This guy is plotting to kill some duke I've never heard of, but he's my cousin. It's fine. Can I try to join it? Can't try to join his plot. Oh well. Let's tell him to stop. That's the other thing too, you don't have to arrest people, you can just ask them to stop. And depending on how much power you have or how cocky they are, they will or won't.
I like how you have farts in a fancy font.
Yeah,
across.
I'm going to change that back. There we go.
There.
A little less silly.
What's farts in German?
Fotzen.
Ah.
That's where the word comes from, I think. Okay, so we have over 100. Can we declare war on this Nicole?
So this is now you're saying what you want the point of the war to be.
Yeah, you need to cast your spell out. But the thing is, I can't invade for my claim on Italy because I have a weak claim. So because he's a king and no one else is contesting it, I can't invade him for that.
Gotcha.
I don't know if people like him too much. Okay. I'm not offered to join his war. Let's see how I can do this. There'll probably be an event for invading Italy. Because we're getting close to the time when he became Holy Roman Emperor.
So, do preset events still happen as you, like, let's say you change, you've done something that goes against the tide of real history. Does those preset events still happen?
Yeah, like there's tags basically. Like a character will get that tag, or like the Muslim conquerors that show up, and the Mongols and stuff. Like basically, a character gets generated with the Genghis Khan tag, or the
Right.
Timur the Lame tag, or things
So-
like that.
Let's say, like you had said, like the King of Italy is getting close to the point where he's declared something. What if you had killed them before that?
Then that wouldn't happen,
That wouldn't happen.
or like somebody else would have done it.
Gotcha.
It's a bummer. Why is it a weak claim? I just want to pay him. I can just make him pay me tribute, which isn't as fun. Who's this? How the hell did these pagans get all the way down here? That's not cool.
Dude,
We're gonna invade Pomerania. Ooh, look at all of those people! Ooh, people don't like us. People don't like us very much
That's-
at all
those
because
are-
of our threat. Okay.
That-
So those are all the other countries,
Who
like
would-
independent rulers who would join against me.
Oh boy. That would be everyone, wouldn't it? So you just caused an arrest there. So you just sent.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like it didn't happen. So now he knows.
He knows you were playing. And that was Sweden, right?
No, so that was happening, so I'm still antagonizing the King
Oh,
of Italy. Oh, my son came of age. Let's see, where is he? You kind of useless bastard. Let's find a wife with a good military. Sure, some lady in Venice. Kind of a hot Italian wife.
Mamma mia.
Mamma mia, such a spicy meatball. And carry your weight, you're at least going to be a commander. So I have a new ambition. Let's do... No, you know what? Otto's feeling lonely. He wants to make a friend. So many titles. Yeah, sure, kill my brother so I don't get the malice.
The one who's in prison?
Yeah. Actually, no, I think the one that's not in prison. Or was my cousin? No. Somebody related to me, but if you kill someone related to you, people get mad. So we're gonna ransom some more prisoners, make some money. So we're gonna have technology bump up to legalism, so we got some more laws. My son already. Oh right, I'm already joined that plot, so I'm just gonna ignore this.
Your son already.
My son already was caught with his plot to kill his cousin. It's a little disappointing. Maybe my spy master was just really good. No, not even. He's only got 11.
Your son's a bit of an oaf.
Yeah. Well, it's you sometimes when you add certain people to your plot, they'll get drunk at a tavern and tell everybody about it, and you'll ruin your plot. The King of Bohemia is dealing with a Lollard uprising. So there's heresies.
Right.
So we're Catholic, and then there's the Lollard heresy. So they oppose the corruption in the church, like many Catholic heresies. They loathe the wealth and ostentation of the clergy, and want to return to a more traditional. One of my counts and my son's new wife are caught doing it in the kitchen. So they must be exposed.
So your son's wife, is she the one that earlier you had taken all her territory?
No,
Oh.
it's a different sense. This is Ida. She still likes me a little bit. You know, I'll give her a gift. Because is Ludolf isn't like heir anymore. So different titles have different inheritance systems. So like Germany here is it's agnatic elective. So the ruler and each lower ranked vassal pick a king, pick the successor.
Okay.
But my duchy here, if we hover over it, it's primogeniture, so oldest son, no matter what. So because Ludolf isn't going to be the next king of Germany, he's not I'm not going to play as him anymore. I'm going to play as Wilhelm, the older brother, the bastard.
So that's a really interesting thing about this game is that as you know, you've set up, you've been playing as a certain monarch, but when they die, you have to change your gameplay style to match your new traits.
Especially when your like genius, attractive heir who's great at everything gets cancer and dies.
Yeah.
Oh, trying to capture another sneaky vassal. Ooh, he's got a lot of land. And he does not like it, so we are going to fight him. So maybe we'll do this rebellion and then call it a night.
Sure.
I don't think I'm going to get a chance to invade Italy yet. For a while yet. Oh, my brother died. Rip.
Ripperoni.
Gonna keep banging your way.
So right now you're joining the fight in Bavaria, or is that you're just...
Yeah, Bavaria is where that vassal that rebelled is.
Okay.
So I'm gonna march all my troops into there and kick his butt.
Oh, I just noticed that as you zoom in, I didn't notice it before, but the topography changes. Like in the Alps, it was like higher ground. It's just a nice little detail. It's not just you're just looking at a 2D static map the whole time.
Yeah, and so like as you zoom in, it sort of changes your. So we're a bit more isometric here, and then you go that it's more top down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the Alps. It's November, so we're probably going to see the ground change to winter. Fighting in winter has challenges of its own, etc., etc.
Maybe they already have this. I don't play a lot of these games currently, but it would be very cool because I know how Paradox has games that are like, this is from this year to this year, then this other one is from. It would be cool if you could, if you had multiple save files, you could like import your progression. Oh, you can.
You can. So these mega campaigns are a big, like, very real hotness thing in the community. So you start out in the year 769 with Charlemagne, and you can play until 2200.
Oh, geez.
Actually, I guess you can play up until whatever the end of Hearts of Iron is, and then theoretically you could pick up again in Stellaris at 2200.
Oh, jeez. So yeah, so there'd be Hearts of Iron is World War II.
World War II and onwards.
And onwards.
There's a little bit of Cold War stuff that comes afterwards, but it's not really set up for it.
Yeah.
It's mostly set up for Hot Wars. Yeah, you can do this to EU4, and then EU4 to Victoria, and Victoria to Hearts of Iron.
Oh, cool. Wow.
And things get wonky. So I talked about the tags, so like making certain historical things happen. You basically, since the world's going to be completely fucked up, you're like, all right, this country's kind of like America, this country's kind of like Britain. So I'm just going to siege the fuck out of this guy's territories for a second. So because he's a bigger guy, individual ones... individual territories don't cost as much. Oh, it was the base capital. Whoops.
So, if you don't mind my asking, how many hours do you think you've put into this game from day one to today?
About 2,000.
2,000?
Yeah, I'd say on par with how much I've played Stellaris. It's a fun game.
Yeah.
And like they just released Holy Fury most recently, Sorry, an Iron Century wasn't a DLC or anything. It's just a new start date they added to the game for free. But if you want to play as certain characters, you need the DLC. Because it's a Paradox game, just get the DLC. Like there's certain ones that are definitely more worth it. I would say you can probably skip Rajas of India and Sword of Islam if you don't want to play as an Hindu or a Muslim. But like Old Gods adds playing as pagans and reforming the religions, and then all the other DLCs add little things. Conclave and Way of Life make your like court life a little bit more interesting. It's not just staring at a map. Alright, we beat this guy. We can march against these raiders, wherever the hell they came from. I'm guessing they probably sailed up one of these rivers.
Yeah, I can really see this as the kind of thing where you get kind of lost in and like kind of like.
Oh shit! It's 3 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even like you were talking about Cadence of Hyrule being hard to play and talk. This like I got to a point where like there's nothing new to talk about.
Right.
I just expanded my lands. Oh, Bohemian's a kingdom now. Good for them. The premise lids. They did that in real life. Any other? So there's the Reconquista starting to happen.
Oh yeah, so like it does follow. Like it is.
Not always. This doesn't always happen.
Oh, it does not.
Quite often, like the Umayyads will get at least up to Aquitaine, and then that'll cause the Pope to start calling crusades. So instead of calling a crusade for the Holy Land, he'll call it for whatever part of Europe is occupied by the Muslims, so like Sicily or Spain.
Gotcha.
There's a Reconquista system, but I haven't played around with it too much. I'd say we're like, what, about 10 years in? Yeah.
What would you say is the power to play as that gives you the most freedom, where you're not really tied to any, like...
As long as you're independent, and not... Like, Germany here, I'm getting running into a bit of an issue because I'm sandwiched, like, between some reasonably sized countries. England is very easy to learn the game in Iron Century. In the original start date, Moo is probably your best bet because they call Ireland Tutorial Island.
And it was like that in Europa Universalis. The Kingdom of Ire is the tutorial one because uniting Ireland.
It's the same thing here. You start on Ireland, like basically in the 1066 one, England's not as powerful because it's in the middle of a civil war. Or at least a war with foreign powers trying to invade. Oh, Norway has flipped back to pagan. At the start, you play as Hakon, who's Christian, but if he dies, Eric Blood Axe. Well, he probably killed him under suspicious circumstances. That makes sense. The other thing I like is that if somebody dies, you can see how they died, and if you like plot to kill them. You'll see these like little red skulls. If you go here and then click on that, it shows you who killed them. So there's an option you can turn on that basically gets rid of all the secrecy, so the player can always see who's killing who. I like it doing this way. But suspicious circumstances almost always means that somebody murdered them.
So in the bottom right-hand corner is the world map. As more discoveries are made, like in chronological order, does that map expand? Like, no, they won't.
This is a static map.
It won't. Okay, so they won't find like Greenland. Like the Vikings won't have discovered Greenland in it.
It's an event.
Oh, it's an event.
So like a little thing comes up and it's like, oh, we found some strange land today, far across the sea, and yada yada yada. And then they get attacked by the Aztecs, and they sail back. And then about 20 years after that event, the Aztecs come, or not 20 years, but after a certain amount of time after that event, the Aztecs come and invade using the Vikings' sea technology.
Huh. Interesting.
Again, that's if you have that DLC turned on, and we turned it off because I think it's silly.
Well, yeah, it's very alt history.
I mean, it's fine that you can get satanic powers and do alchemy and stuff, but the Aztecs invading England? No way.
No, we have to keep it realistic.
Man, everyone's so whiny. You know what's worse than a prison cell? Being dead. speed time up a little. Throw a tournament.
Grand tournament.
So this gives you some prestige. And like you'll get basically points out pretty good like military commanders that you can try and recruit.
Yeah.
But Bohemia, congrats on becoming a real country. Do you want to marry one of your kids to my kids? No. Oh, because he's in the defensive pact because everyone's terrified of me. Right.
Right. So your nation is just so large right now that everyone around you is like, let's make sure you don't get any bigger.
Yeah, basically. You don't need any allies. Which actually basically was what I was trying to do. I was trying to set somebody up to defend me. Oh, Poland is invading the Slavs and the... Oh, this is another fun thing you can do as a Christian ruler. You can send your dude to proselytize in other countries. Let's see what happens to him.
So Poland right now is
Slavic.
Slavic.
So they worship Perun and stuff. Veles, the god of the underworld, Svarog. And there's also Remover, which is more. He's now imprisoned. Okay, so that didn't go the best way it could have. My chancellor doesn't like me very much. Oh, because I'm a ruthless tyrant. Yeah. Join the club. Let's put somebody who likes me in charge. There we go. Oh, my spy master doesn't like me. That's not good. Yeah, this guy likes me a little bit more. Oh, and sometimes people die in your tournament.
What does that change from the tournament?
It doesn't change a lot, but like people get wounded, and if they're landed and they die, they die. Like their heir inherits.
Gotcha.
So sometimes your amazing counselor who's been helping you take over Europe just dies.
Because at a tournament, like in a silly way.
At a tournament, yeah. All people are just getting maimed left, right, and center. My brother-in-law. Ooh, Poland's getting pretty big. Here, let's invade Poland. So a bunch of pagans will join in. Maybe not. Well, maybe we'll invade Poland next time. Or Italy. Or...
Are Italy and Arles still fighting France?
No. They're done. But I can't claim Italy. Because it's a weak claim, not a strong claim. So, I imagine, again, that there's some sort of event that happens. Like I got with this war over here.
Yeah.
But I'm running out of enthusiasm.
Alright.
My wrist is starting to hurt.
Alright, yeah, so we're going to call it a stream then. So thanks everyone for tuning in. It was a fun 2 hours. Hope you guys enjoyed it. So we're going to be streaming some more games later on. So I definitely want to be playing some Mario Maker, some Smash Bros, stuff like that. So thanks again for tuning in. Make sure to hit that subscribe button for more streams, and we'll talk to you later.
Slam that motherfucking like button.
Alright, bye everyone. You have to